Searching podcasts for Dave, and one more time.
Well, America, they said it wouldn't last. Oh, who are we kidding? They didn't say that. They hope that. But, like the weeds along LA 1 and Highway 308 in South Lafourche, this podcast just keeps on growing. This is the 100th episode of Dave and Juan More Time. You're welcome, America.
And 3.
Number 2.
Followed by 100. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man. Episode 100. We got to get this figured out by now.
Man.
Yes.
I don't know the last time I did 100 things just randomly.
Man, don't ask me. Don't ask me. So just right off the start, America.
You're welcome, man. It's like, a celebratory. You're welcome.
Yeah. 100. A Hundy. A Benjamin. 100th episode. Hey, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do 100 times for free.
No.
For free. Oh, by the way. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Dave.
I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, so the other day I bumped into a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in years in a place where, we all tend to bump into each other, funerals.
Of an age.
Yep. But his name is Jerome. He and his wife Jeannie live in San Antonio, just out of San Antonio, and they watch regularly. And It was funny because literally I hadn't seen him in years. And he said, I know you don't know a lot about what we got going on, but I feel like I know everything you have going on.
That's funny to say that. My wife gave me the helpful hints too. She's done this more than once. She says, just talk about the Bayou stuff. Sometimes you just sort of get into it, like what you did today. And I'm like, well, what else? That's what you end up doing.
Right. That's what I do.
Try to figure. Exactly. It's we're just chronicling life.
Yeah.
And throwing out advice and the things we've learned over 100 episodes of doing this nonsense.
We're here for your wife is a Bayou thing that happened to me.
I got tons of Bayou stuff. Great. All right, so a Bayou thing. Okay.
We were in Sulphur, the beautiful area, over the weekend for my daughter's swim meet, and my dad comes with us, and he doesn't like to drive at night, or I don't like him to drive at night, so I had picked him up the other day, and I was bringing him home last night. So my 2.5 hour drive from Sulphur turns into about a 5-hour drive. I gotta go down to Pankerville and back. But anyway, so we're coming up, getting close to the Bayou, and it's gotta be 8:30. And all of a sudden I just see lights coming up down the road, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I realized it was the parade floats from Thibodeau. Wherever they used them from, were coming down the road, I guess, returning somewhere, had a police escort,
of course,
probably 35 floats, but the trailers that pull the floats must not have tail lights, so the lights on the floats were lit and glowing and streaming beyond belief. It was an interesting sight, but it made it pretty darn difficult to drive.
You got I was about to say, you got a different show. You got a different parade. You didn't put your window down and say, hey, throw me something.
Yeah, no, there wasn't anybody throwing anything.
Throw me something. Well, yeah, that's a Bayou thing. I saw parts of probably both of those parades. There were 2 parades in Thibodeau. I also was in Thibodeau. Yeah, beautiful day in Thibodeau, and I could tell it was going to be a while. The first parade that rolled was, I think it's called Shaka, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
And
like I was there.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Parade called
and I forget which one came after that. And I don't pretend to know. You know what I'm saying? I was just I was just there. The house in Thibodeau is close enough that it's just a nice easy walk to, and I tell you what, I know people do this everywhere, but man, people love them some parades.
Dude.
And it was, forget the Super Bowl, right? I mean, they were just, I couldn't believe the amount of cars and everybody parked in everybody's yards and all the cooking. It was really fun. But yeah, Shaka, they rolled slow. They were taking their time. That's what I noticed. Because I talked to my brother-in-law after. I said, "There's a parade after this," because it goes
Yeah, they
down
just
all
line
the
them
way,
up, man.
and it goes down Menard, and then it goes do whatever it does, and I guess the mayor throws a blessing at
Yeah,
whoever,
they do like the toast or something.
and then they come back. Apparently they all come back down. So, and my brother-in-law said, "Yeah, no, there's going to be after dark. It's going to be one of those." But that was good. It was good. So myself, we were actually didn't see each other, but we're in the same parts of the world, basic parts of the world. But had a fun time on the Bayou and got a chance. That's a first for me. I'm getting old. It's hard to, you don't get many first. All right. It's the first time I got to walk into a restaurant and order an
You're
entree.
named after you.
And well, you're on there too.
Oh, well, us. Okay. So,
It's Dave and Juan's famous weenie spaghetti, and you can get that at the Bayou Boil and Go. We get free shout out there because my name's actually on the menu, but yours is too. Even though you're not the weenie spaghetti guy, you kind of.
that's right. See, that's the hard part. I think I would go, but then I'd feel obligated to eat the weenie spaghetti.
And it's delicious. You should shout out. I spent some time with my cousin Brent owns the place. He was there. We came out, spent some time. Had my mom with me, and whoever
Did
it
your
is,
mom announce to everybody to get the David one?
Man, my mom's got a dish named after her too. It's like
get out of here.
Yeah, it's like Aunt Liz's ragu patat, which actually sounds good. It's a stew. It's a beef and potato stew that she used to make. But yeah. So my mom got a dish too. Now we walk into the place, and I'd been there a long time ago before it closed after the hurricane and come back, and as we walk in, it's my mom and I, and I go to find a little table, and some lady, several people in there pops up. She says, "Hey, what y'all doing here?" Got no idea who this is. No idea who this is, right? And you start playing that game. Because it's not being snobby. I am not. It's just like and it's so hard. Now maybe they were pretending. It's so hard to not sound like
pretentious
when somebody goes out of their way to, who are you? So I just smile, and she was more, give my mom a hug and talking and just whatever. And so my mom's, "Well, how you doing?" And I could pick up. I bet. So it was all done. We sat down at the table. My mom looks at me quiet, man, sheepishly. "Dave, who was that?" I said, "Don't ask me."
See, my friend Jerome that I was talking about earlier. Gosh, now my series popping up. He had a great way of handling it. I laughed and complimented him. People would come up to him and say, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he would say, "You got me at a disadvantage. Yeah, help me out here." And because they knew who he was because they hadn't, I mean, I don't know. I guess they expected to see him there, but his whole thing was, help me out here. Help me out.
Well, that still sounds pretentious to me. I'm sorry. I'm glad he's got it. Trust me, that runs through my head too. It's like, bruh, don't take this wrong, but bruh. But it's all good, and got the like I said, the exceptional, more than I can, and I polish it off. It's one of those things. I ate. I was full. But when you're Dave of Dave and Juan's famous weenie spaghetti,
right, dude, you taking out to go.
You can't leave anything on the plate, and I had trouble polishing off the potato salad, which was great by the way as well. So, shout out to the lady that did it. If you want to taste what a true, this ain't no ragu, this is somebody made. There you go. It's kind of funny too. So he's just bringing out stuff, and he brought out fried instead of fried onion rings. It's fried bell peppers. Okay, now
That's
here's the
interesting.
deal. Listen, here's what's funny. I said, where'd this from? And apparently at some other restaurant, somebody messed up. Either the supplier messed up or the order messed up. And I don't know what he was supposed to get. I think he was supposed to get onions. He got like 4 cases of various bell peppers. And he's like, what you gonna, send it back, do whatever. He's like,
That
no.
would be in the wholesale distribution business. That's called a substitution. You didn't order this. We didn't have what you ordered. We still wanted your money.
That's what you call a substitution. There you go. So Mr. Substitution Juan. Well, he got a substitution and decided, you know what? Let's cut them up, and they cut the bell peppers up to it makes a ring. Dude, you have these, you won't get onion rings again. Not kidding. It's like
Did they stay kind of crunchy?
Yes. Yeah. And here's funny. You can tell we a bunch of old guys that notice this stuff, because I was telling him, bruh, you know what I like about this? I can bite it, I can tear it, and I don't end up with an onion in one hand and all the crust in the other. Bell peppers don't, man. So there you go. So this is turning into a food episode, but but there
that
you
might
go.
work good in the air fryer.
So I don't know. Nah, I don't know, man. I know you an air fryer fan. I'm not a big we've got
No,
one.
I'm not. We got one. Nobody knows how to use it though.
I said, well, it's not that they're not hard to use. It's just
I mean, there's a trick to making things crunchy in it though, apparently.
Yeah, you can make anything crunchy, just burn it.
Although I did have pizza rolls out of it one time.
Of course you do. That's what Bayou Boil and Go ought to offer. Juan's famous pizza rolls.
Yeah,
You know,
man,
that's-
that'd be hard to beat. Yeah,
You'd
just get you run on down to Walmart and get that big old bag of Geno's.
You'd be down there on that. But that, and we also recommend the fried bread pudding.
For real?
Yeah, I know. For real. Fried bread pudding. It's like square. Yeah, man. Go figure. Dude, you gotta love Cajuns.
We'll fry
figure it out.
anything.
Just kind of sit around and say, I think would taste good. Try this. Oh, we got one. As I said, fried bell peppers. There you go. And here's what's interesting. So that same day, so I had Dave and Juan's famous weenie spaghetti for lunch. And then later on that day, back in Thibodeau, and I brought my son to, we went to Freeman's. So we're giving free shout outs everywhere. I got no, Freeman's has nothing on the menu.
Named
and I
after
like
us.
it. I like them. Boy, they are doing. I mean, that place is packed all the time, doing great. But and I'll just say, I had a very nice entree. It involved fish, and it was and it was just like really, top notch, right? Kind of
In
dish.
case you're from Thibodeau and you're wondering, this is owned by the same fella who owned the Iron Horse.
My son didn't believe me at first. We start talking, and I'm telling him these stories, and I was just like, yeah, I used to actually MC lip sync contests.
That's right, dude.
Guy
Occasionally in tuxedos.
And he just looked at me and said, well, you peaked, didn't you? You kind of peaked. Maybe. But the point I was going to make is I had a very top-notch dish that you would have been happy to get in any restaurant in New Orleans. And bro, the only thing wrong was it wasn't another weenie spaghetti. I sat there drinking red wine, thinking, you know what? I could go for another week. Maybe that says more about me than anything else. But it was great. Probably cost 3 times what my weenie spaghetti cost. But,
yeah. Freeman's is good. Ain't cheap.
Well, but good, worth it, man.
It's a good place. Nice atmosphere.
They do well. Again, I was in there trying to teach some strategies to my lad that's there. So we walk in, and it's a Friday night, and it's right at dinner time. Okay, and place is packed. Right. So walk in, nice young lady. And I said, hey, it's only 2 of us. Is anything? She's like, oh, she's looking down. She says, no. She says, and we're booked. We're totally booked. I said, no. Okay. I said, how about the bar? Is the bar open to? She's like, well. She looks. I think there's 1 seat on the end. I say, well, there's 2 of us, so we'll just fight for it. So we just walk on down there. Yeah, we're gonna hang out. We might not eat here, but we're just gonna hang out, and we're so I'm sitting there with my son, just so I start. Whether he likes it or not, I figure I'm buying dinner and drinks, so he's gonna get pontificated to tonight. We're gonna spend some.
Right. That's the price of admission.
That's right. I'm gonna, and I'm getting a good conversation, and then I look up, and if you've been to Freeman, there's got a nice bar, big bar, long bar,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of curls. And there's a couple things too. It's like I don't know if it's only in South Louisiana, but it's such a Louisiana thing. I look down on the end, and there are three people sitting. I can see them directly, and a man, two women. I think probably the man and woman is married. And I just love this because it's so South Louisiana, multi-ethnic. All right, we're talking right. That's a whatever stereo. Right, and sitting there at a bar, and they're they got their drinks and stuff, and then the food comes, right, and they all bow their head and say grace. And I'm sitting there going, that's a South Louisiana thing right there, man. We sitting in a bar drinking, about to eat our food, but man, we're gonna say grace right here.
Yeah, at the bar.
At the bar. Said grace at the bar. And not
Probably
long
took a
after,
swig of his cocktail to clear his throat.
man, listen, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do. So then I look up and I see a lady like over from them. She puts her sunglasses, her glasses up on her head, and I see her husband doing the telltale, taking that last chug of his beer because they've been eating there too. And I just kind of hit my son. I said, okay, stay here. I'm going bird dog this. I'm going to go see if we can, I'll wave at you. He's just looking at me like, what? I said, this is how this works, dude. This is how this works. Pay attention. You got to pay attention.
You've been multitasking. You were telling stories.
I'm telling stories. I'm talking.
Scoping out the environment.
Hey, look, man, I was watching that group when they said grace. I went, well, I'm not going to watch that part for a while because they're going to be here for a little while. And then so we get there, they're getting up, and I start joking with them. Well, we end up in a 5-minute conversation, right? This man and woman getting up, and my son standing there just shaking his head like, can't believe. They found out all about their kids and where they're from, and my son, they want to know if he's in a fraternity, where they live, whatever. I think they may have exchanged addresses before they left. They're like, hey, hysterical. So we sit down. He's just like, I don't even understand what you do in here. Like, what you just talk to everybody? I'm like, yeah, it's sort of how.
Yeah, why not, man?
100%, right? And it's just and
yeah,
again,
if I don't know somebody he knows, we're gonna know somebody who knows each other.
So help me. We're sitting there, talking to the bar folks, and they're great, by the way. Shout out to them too. The young man and lady working, just great employees. And I look over, I'm looking around the room, and you can't see everything from the bar, but as I told my son, I said, okay, I promise you, I don't think I know anybody in this room. I don't know the name of anybody in this room, but I'll bet you I'm no more than 2 to 3 degrees separation from everybody in this room. No. And I promise you, if I went there, like, who's your mom? Who's your dad? Where you from? Where you go to? We're going to find, right? I'm just joking about that. And he's just like, I guess today's generation, you're 1 degree of separation on the phone, right? I mean, everybody thinks they, as I'm saying this man and woman walk in, and they get right next, there's a little space right next to us at the bar, and they step up, and I lean over to my son. I said, I don't know who that is, but that guy looks familiar. I said, I said, I'll bet you I know that guy. And he's like, please don't, please don't. just drink your wine, please. And so I'm kind of talking. And then so he goes to the bathroom, and the lady apparently hears me talking to other people, whatever. So she's one of those, right? She kind of leans in, and I get it. I'm the same way. She's going to join the conversation. So I say, hey,
you do that whole, I'm not eavesdropping, but
I just heard everything you said. I'm going to regurgitate, right? So she says, I forget what she says. And I said, tell me something. I said, who's your husband? She said, well, he's not my husband. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I mean,
who's your side friend?
Who's your date over here? I'm not gonna give the guy's name, but she gives me the guy's name, and I start laughing. I said, I beat that guy in a tennis tournament at Nichols my senior year in high school, and she's like laughing, like, really? He comes back, sure enough, and dude, again, next 10 minutes, we go on, and oh, yeah, where'd you go to this and that? And we talked about old high school days, whatever. Where do you live now? And this is where I was. Oh, you're my neighbor. Oh, listen, the parade's in a couple of days. Y'all come out. Okay. And like I said, he leaves, and my son just looks at me and says, your confidence is ridiculous. I'm like,
it's not confidence when
it's 100%.
Yeah.
No. It's like confidence. I said, just talk to people. Guess what? There you go. But yeah,
that's the beauty of a small town.
It's
in a small town that's not that small.
It's not that small, but it's also And I guess some people want to get away from that too, right?
Yeah.
I used to say that, it's like, yeah, it's also good for at least a period of your life to go somewhere where nobody knows you at the Walmart,
Oh yeah.
But
It makes for a great visit when, you know, it helps you reminisce, whether you got somebody to reminisce with or not, because you're easily able to find somebody.
I brought him to Renee's after, right? Renee's bar, just as
That's
I
the
had to
place
get.
now, isn't it? Isn't that where Renee's and Rox's?
Yeah, well, they're still there. Everything else seems to have, and I walked in there and I was trying to explain to him, but it's totally different. It's been totally remodeled. Doesn't look anything like, I mean, it's updated nice, but it doesn't look anything like I remember, or like it wasn't, again, back in our day. And I walked toward the back and I said, well, there used to be some pool tables here. I'm trying to explain to him what it used to look like. I don't care whether he's interested or not. He might have, I'm saying, it's just, this is more for me than for him. And I'm doing that. I look over at the bar and this big guy, he looked like he's a big beard, he's young. I say young. He's in his 30s, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but propped up in the money. He looks over at me a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, geez. I mean, no, I got my son with me who looks like he could take out half the bar. He's big, and I said, "What's up, bro? You're telling him about the pool table?" I thought the guy was looking at me like I don't know what I did, like I did something wrong, or he just didn't like the look of my face. I don't know, and but then I was just like, you're talking about the pool tables? And I'm like, yeah, I used to be. And this guy went into like 3 minutes of explaining the reconstruction of the bar and whatever. And like, again, we end up in this, oh man, where you from again? And at this point, my son's just like, okay, there's nobody we're going to walk into tonight that we're not going to spend,
Right. You got to factor that time in.
Dude, 2 minutes later on the way out by accident, somebody yells at me, hey, just because we were walking out without getting a drink. That's also a Bayou thing. That's a Thibodeau Lafourche Parish thing. So we just came in. We had just come from dinner. We didn't come. We just, I just wanted to show him walking out.
Just here to see.
So this guy leaning on the end of the bar, he looks over a couple of times. Says, so walking out, he looks at me and says, you all right, bro? I said, yeah, I think so. He says, you don't look like you. He says, you don't look like you all right. I'm like, oh, geez. Like, man, what did I do? Like what, but again, I'm standing there, I'm thinking, I think my son can bench press this bar, so I'm okay. And he says, how come you got a beer? I'm like, he thought it was like, well, just came from dinner, man. I'm just, where you from? When you graduated? Oh, bro, me too. Class A. I mean, like high-fiving me and stuff, right? You just sworn it was set up, right? And then one of his friends comes over. I introduce my son. Come to find out, he's a customer of the bank that my son works at. And he tells him which branch he works at. The next day, my son's at work. That guy goes to the drive-up window.
See, I said, man, your son's about to get a promotion.
Yeah.
A couple of job offers just from all this networking.
Hey, and that guy that and then as we're walking back to the car, like this is the car down the street in Thibodeau, somebody comes up behind us. I'm like, oh geez, a black Escalade, window comes down, like, oh my, and it was my buddy that I beat in tennis all those years ago that lives in the neighborhood. Is, hey, I need a ride. I know, we all good. And he tells that to my son. He goes, man, I'm like a block away from you. He says, you need to come. I was telling him, you need to come over. Just if I don't remember who you are, tell me that your dad beat me in tennis. We good. And that's what I said. There you go, son. Trying to turn the keys of Thibodeau over to you.
Right. Tell him that's not networking. That's working the room.
I didn't even need to name drop Juan Semino. That's how, that's my next move.
Right. Yeah. You'd have to get crowd control on that one.
That'd have been my next move. I should have walked him over to the old Iron Horse and said, this is where Juan Semino put his pink Chuck Taylor Converse.
Right.
Up on somebody's head. Right there. That place right there.
Right. I strolled that floor in ultimate coolness over and over again.
Man, believe it or not, there was a time in history when they would throw on Kenny Loggins' Footloose, and this place went crazy. This little piece of earth right here, there's just a slab. It's just an empty slab in the middle of an old downtown. Right here.
Looks tiny, but it wasn't.
Kenny Loggins created magic right here. And that was on tape. That doesn't even count. Who's your boys? Panic.
Yep. Duke and all my buds.
Duke and the boys. But Yeah, all good. But a good visit. Good visit. Next day, just standing there. I didn't go. I was doing different things during the parade, but I met some retired pediatric surgeon or something. I mean, just nice guy. Didn't know. I thought. Here's what's funny. I thought he knew other people because he just sort of like got into my conversation. I figured you must be with some of these people here. No, he was just there by himself to see his grandson.
Catching some
Apparently,
beads, bro.
yeah, his grandson was like in the fire department, a volunteer fire department, and he's I found out
Also, he was in the parade.
he's in the parade. He's riding in one of the fire trucks. He's an Eagle Scout pilot, nice young man. Anyway, so this guy's and he's by himself, and he's saying, "Oh, it's my grandson." I'm saying, so I just said, "Go get in front of the thing, man. Make him stop. I'll get a couple pictures of you." So he went up there. I snapped some pictures. And what's your number, bro? I texted, hey, friend for life. That dude texted me when I landed last night, flying back to Houston. I had a text from that guy.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure you got home okay.
Checking on me. I was like, man, my new best friend, the retired, whatever he is. But
well, man, it's like Dave Martin tour in Thibodeau this weekend.
It was fun, man. Bought a golf cart.
Yeah, I saw y'all pictures in that.
Bought a golf cart. I thought about doing that a while back just because of it's a nice neighborhood and sort of an opportunity for my that's sort of what I kind of told all the guys there. It's like let's get Granny out every now and then and pretty days and go see the neighborhood and so yeah, that was fun. Here's what else I realized. I guess I knew this before, but I tested it several times and it works. You can go anywhere and nobody will stop you if you're on a golf cart.
Yeah.
Dude, you get on a golf cart and you look like you belong. So while the parade's going on, and I mean, that's just right there. I mean, you can hear you could literally sit right. So my mom has never been a big parade kind of person, right? So I said, well, at least we'll just ride up on the cart, just get up. It's a beautiful day. Just
you could stay on the cart.
She never had to get up, just sit on the. And I said, look, you got a cover and you got a windshield. Yeah. Nothing's going to hit you. Yeah. So we did that for a little while, and then on the she goes, no, I'm good. I had enough of this. And as we're heading back to the house, she says, now might be a good time to do we talked about doing a little tour of the campus. I go and see Nichols. I'm like, I'm on that, dude. I covered every square inch of that campus on that cart. I got pictures. I'm in the quadrangle.
Yeah, this is where I used to live in Long Hall.
Oh, I went shore, the empty lot where Long Hall used to be. She'd been there, of course, before. But oh yeah. Man, everybody. Now, every cop in Thibodeau was lined up along the street, and I know I had that golf cart places that you're not supposed to bring a golf cart, but I had all the stories in my head ready to go.
Right.
Up
here on the left.
Yes,
you turn your attention to the right.
I told my mom, look, if they stop us, just tell them that you're a transfer student. And
it's recruiting week.
I'm just showing you around, but oh yeah, man, that was kind of fun. I thought about that. I rode through the quadrangle. I showed her where we had the Key and Issue barbecues, grilling some hot hamburgers right there, and but yeah,
nice sounds. So, yeah, my dad told me over the weekend, that he's thinking about buying a 4-wheeler. I said, well, all right,
a 4-wheeler.
Yeah,
I mean, just
give him something to do. Go ride around the fields.
Yeah, it's fun. How old is your dad now?
88.
88.
Yeah. I said, well, you got to make sure you get one an electric start. You don't be having to hand crank that thing.
Go build them some ramps to jump and
yeah, whatever, man. We used because we went in his car, or he and I went in his car, and when my mom was alive, she had bad knees or something, and so she actually had a handicap parking tag for a while.
Man, those are magic.
He had it renewed, and they gave him 2, and my sister took the other one. But so it was cold one morning, and I had to get my daughter there early to warm up for the swim meet. So it was just me and her, but I put the hang tag on. And I sat in the car, and I had reading a book for like an hour. And I was just noticing how many people park in the handicap, who have handicap tags, who don't have a handicapped person anywhere near them.
Yeah, I try. Well, I don't know that I ever have before. But my thing is, well, yeah, no, I don't. I won't do that. But it depends. It depends, I guess, if you don't take the last handicap spot. And it depends
No,
on
no,
how
no.
many
Yeah.
there are. And there's also some places, by the way, you just know going in. I don't care if you got a handicap tag. If you don't get there half an hour early, bro, there ain't no handicap spots left. Let me tell you, they got, like I said, because they apparently they give those things out like candy.
Oh yeah,
Cause
yeah. It was. I can remember they remodeled a grocery store one time here, and they had so many handicap spots in the parking lot that I went and say, "Hey, look, I appreciate y'all doing this, but are you anticipating every handicapped person in Baton Rouge showing up here at one time?"
if they do show up, they're ready. They're
Yeah.
ready. So spent
But we
time.
also had we had a rooster at the house we stayed in,
You got a
or
rooster. Nice.
or next door. Yeah.
Oh, not
So
okay. Wasn't yours. About to say, well, that doesn't really address the egg problem, does it?
no, it doesn't. It addresses the wake you up problem though.
Really?
It didn't wake me up, and I said that like the first night, it could have been in the room with us, and I wouldn't have heard it
I
because
know
my
that
wife
feeling.
my wife was snoring so loud that it would have
Oh,
drowned out the roost.
thanks for sharing that. I'm sure she's. Hey, it happens. It happens. You always say, kick me, kick me. My wife's so paranoid about snoring. She's like, don't ever let me snore. Wake me up. I'm like, why? Well,
Yeah.
That's a because to me that's mean. You know.
Right.
And
I just got a little noise thing on my phone. I just put that louder.
I would just rather lay here and suffer. That's just how I am. That's what you got to do when you're a good spouse. You just suffer. I do. I put her. Well, not for that. She doesn't snore about it. But all of us. If
Yeah, no,
depends,
it's rare that she does. So
depends how tired you are. Yeah, let's get those. Get those. Get the plugs in. Just kidding, honey. Just kidding. So we're doing. This is coming out on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, I was about to ask, is that why you're wearing your red shirt?
It is. It is. My red shirt. Yes, my special red shirt. I bought it for yeah. Yeah, it was appropriate. I also had a bow tie. I almost wore a bow tie for the 100th episode.
Nice, man.
I thought that would look stupid though. It looks too Chippendale. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Not that I don't look Chippendale enough, but
Well, you certainly could pull it off.
the Chris Farley version, I guess. But so something I did the Bayou, right? We went down there and drove down toward Galliana and been my first time. It's the first time down there since definitely before the storm.
Wow.
And yeah, guy, hang in there, Bayou Lafouche. Hang in there, man. It's
Did you take the new road or the new road?
No, I didn't take anything. No. I took the old roads, bro.
Stayed on the Bayou.
Took on 308, and then I came back. I did LA1. Went down to Galliana. Went down to the church. Went down to our old house in Galliana. And it's the same thing. Our conversations every time we get, that part is just, "Cho, look at that. Oh, that's a shame. Oh man, they let that go. Oh," and I can't help it, bro. I mean, the farther you start counting the streets as the street numbers get get higher or lower. They get lower. They get higher as you head down the Bayou. Yeah, man. It gets tickah and tickah. By the time I'm down there in Galliana, oh man, can't believe that used to be where Mr. One Das lived right there. Remember that, Mom? Remember that? They had some cows right there, and that's where that time that I roped that cow by accident. That was right there on this fence, and
there was a place right near the place where the swim meet was, and it's a hair salon. But I joked. I said that I thought that it was a Cajun therapy place because it's called Therapy, THAIRPY. Oh, bruh, I'm going to get me some therapy.
Gonna get some therapy. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, but
so
yeah,
do y'all know who lives in y'all old house?
No. Probably at one time we did. It's been a while, man. It's been a minute. We know the first few owners. I'm not sure. Whoever it is, shout out to you. Oh, I'm not going to give out the address, but down there in Galliana, our old house, y'all doing a good job.
You wasn't tempted to go knock on the door?
I drove around, took enough pictures, and I was afraid, somebody. It's kind of a drizzly day though. Somebody would have come out. I was ready to pull the. Hey, I used to live here. I busted my knee right there. Them steps that used to be my mama's steps right there. So there was a house that was next to ours that's been gone. It was torn down. Like I'm seriously like I don't know 40 something years ago, and the steps are still there. I mean, I ain't lying. The front steps to the house.
The steps could be on the National Historic Registry, and they might not be able to do anything with them.
That's kind of funny when you're reminiscing about that stuff. There's the steps. Right there's where the statue of the Virgin Mary used to be. Right there. That piece of I don't know what happened. Some couillon drunk in a truck probably hit it. But that's where that was. And the same thing, our neighborhood in Cutoff. But so yeah, they had a lot of damage for Ida. But bro, they put a new metal roof on our house, on the house.
Oh man.
Ooh, I got roof envy. I told that to my mom sitting there in the car.
What color is it?
I like it. It's dark. It's a dark, from a distance, you don't even know it's metal. And you get up on there and it's like, oh man. That's some old Cajun stuff right there. Like, oh, metal. They're not moving.
Man, when it rains, bro, they could sleep.
Not if it's insulated well, bro. That's not like it's not like the old tin. It's not like the old tin roofs. It's the But
aluminum.
All good. It was all good. Like I said, hang in there by Elafouche. And on the way back where is it somewhere in Raceland. And shout out to whoever does this. It's on the other thing, driving 308. Well, LA1's not much better, but driving 308 again, constantly reminded. Oh my God, this is a dangerous road.
Yeah, no shoulder, no lights.
That's the one thing I tell my son, because my son brought me to the airport. My son and my father-in-law brought me to the airport on Sunday, and I was telling him, I said, man, avoid this road if you can. Just.
I remember one morning driving to the radio station from Thibodeau on 308. Foggy as all get out. I mean, it was before the sun came up and before cell phones. So I was late because of the fog, and I had to stop by there was some hardware store like in the middle that I had to stop at and call the radio station to let them know that I was late from a payphone, no less.
Hey man, listen, we used to take our jobs seriously. All right. People didn't think that, but we were responsible human beings. But yeah, they're driving there, and I don't know who's been doing it for a while, but it's on the 308 side, near the Bayou side, and they had 10 road signs, like handmade kind of road signs. And for the longest time, it was like the 10 Commandments. Okay. All right. Sort of like church.
Legit.
It's legit. Thou shalt not, right? So they changed them now, and it says, one of them just says, what is it? Stealing? Question mark? Don't do it. Murder? Don't do it.
Oh, okay.
Covet. Don't do it.
That's the dumbed down version of the 10 Commandments.
They looked around the bayou and said, okay, apparently
y'all
not
no
grasping.
One understands. Nobody knows the thou shalt not.
Y'all
means.
Not grasping that. I think the thou shalt is throwing y'all off. So here's what we're gonna do. Murder?
Don't do that, bro.
Covet? I know you don't know what covet means. Don't do that either. So, hey, I know you're involved in, deeply with your church, and I'm sure knowing you must be on some kind of leadership committees and
no,
various.
I just like to run camera.
Oh, all right. I just figured, you're kind of an involved guy. Yeah, you at least probably have, you just seem, you'd offer advice where it's needed, and I think we could all learn something from it. I can't even tell you who's doing it, if it's an individual or if it's a church or whatever, but that's just a stroke of genius, man.
Maybe we can market that. That might be something we could sell.
Let's boil we should. You walk around with a shirt. Murder? Don't do it.
Don't do it. But if I walked around with that around Baton Rouge, I'd get killed.
Cursing? Don't do it. Telling you, man. But there you go. So
I'd like to meet the people who've done that.
I felt better driving. And look, I guarantee you there are people listening right now, watching right now, saying, "Oh, I know exactly what's this." So here, hit us up at Dave and Juan.
Let us know.
protonmail.com, or let us know who does that.
Yeah, if it's you,
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
So shout out. So shout out to y'all. But yeah, so I was should have like alluded to. I'm trying to even think about how to tell the most bizarre story I have encountered in 100. We've done this 100 times, 100 episodes. I don't know that I have a story. And some of it
You
can be
have some
funny.
freaky stories though.
Well, sit down, y'all. Gotta keep this. I know the weenie spaghetti and Freeman story went on a bit, but so this now you can verify because I texted you the next day, and you were doing some research for me trying to figure out.
That's right.
Yeah, so let me paint the picture here. So on Saturday, Saturday. Again, beautiful. No, it was that was the kind of drizzly day. I mean, it was kind of miserable day, but so we're back in my mom's house, and it was one of the rare times we're all together. My mom, I'm there, my son, and both my nephews that live in the house now. So that we're all sitting in the living room, or whatever, the family room, whatever. House has got a lot of rooms, whatever the room's called, right? The one that butts up against the back patio. Okay. And we even have 2 dogs in there. They got dogs. Okay. So like we got a full house. Got a full house going on. And the back, I'm sitting, dude, I'm sitting sofa. I'm probably 4 feet away from there's 2 sliding glass doors, but I'm close to one. My son's sitting actually facing me. And it's a little after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It's already dark. And all of a sudden, my son says, I think somebody just walked through the back patio. And I love my son.
Now, what time of day was this? Nighttime? Daytime?
Yeah, it was dark. It was dark. It was 7. I don't know that it was 8 o'clock yet, but it was dark. Okay. Not that late in the evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love my son, but he's not the one that you would, like, in a room full of people and 2 dogs. He's not the one you would expect
to be that noticing.
Apparently, he's far more perceptive than I give him credit for. But he says, "Dad, I think somebody just came through the back patio." So, and it's not that big of an area, right? And they got some lights on it, and that's where the golf cart, the aforementioned golf cart, is sitting off on one side of the patio. And so I look outside. I don't see anything. So I said, "Well, let me see if it's true. Let me see if somebody somehow."
Yeah.
And if I describe this to you guys, this is not like random. Like you're not back there on accident. Okay. That's the other thing. It's not like on the street or whatever. Oh, somebody just randomly.
Yeah. It's not a cut through. You can't really.
No. In fact, yeah, exactly. Not easy to get to at all. So I walk out onto the back patio kind of, quickly, semi-aggressively, and I'm kind of walking toward where the golf cart is. And lo and behold, there's a dude standing right on the end of the on the other side of the golf cart. Kind of turns around. I'm not going to say some of the words that came out of my mouth. Just like what? So dude's got on a camouflage jacket, hoodie.
He probably thought you couldn't see him.
Don't know. But let's just say he didn't appear to be too concerned that I was standing there saying, "What are you doing?" Turns and starts walking toward me. Okay. I can't see his hands. I can't see. And so those of you that, how to say this, I don't think it's politically incorrect to say, look like a meth head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Whether it is or not.
Okay. That's my initial jump to, my initial thing is, okay, because this is not normal. So he doesn't appear to be in a hurry.
Coherent.
Or that. So I turn quickly. I jump back into the house, shut the door behind me, lock it, close the curtain, turn to, again, I got 3 young men with me and my mom, and I just calmly say, being sarcastic, somebody get me a gun right now. So I turn because I didn't know where he was going. I realized he's walking toward, maybe the other door that I don't think was locked. So I had to get to the other door. So as I get there to the carport, I look out there and here's this guy and he comes back around. He's standing on the carport, right? And I just what he's doing, and I turn around. Now here's the deal, guys. If you've got a Marine veteran nephew, and you say, "Give me a gun," he shows up with options. He shows up with options. And I'm standing there and he hands me, he says, "Look, Dave, here. It's a 45, whatever. It's got one in the chamber and it's cocked." I'm like, whoa. Uncock it.
Yeah.
Don't hand me. Like, I'll if I need it, I'll cock it. Just go ahead. All right. So he does that. So I open the back door and this guy is just not, you know, and I said, "Dude, get out of here. What are you doing? You got my bike." I'm like, I swear we don't got your bike. And he starts like he's telling me more stuff, and I'm like, and that's when here. But apparently because this is on the Ring doorbell. We have cameras everywhere, but they don't have recorders. But I guess we have it on the Ring doorbell. So apparently, dude, when I'm threatening you, I get as Cajun can get. My cuss words sound Cajun. Everything is really Cajun. And I just start thinking, okay, I'm almost realizing that I might be on camera. And I'm just saying, "Dude, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. You need to go away. You're going to get hurt. Hey, y'all took my weapon. You got to go, guy. You're going to get hurt." And then he's not moving. He's sort of like, floating, like he's coming. And it's a weird thing, man. We joke about, shout out to cops who have to deal with this kind of nonsense every freaking day. Like, to a cop, they'd say, "Hey, that's 4 times on Tuesday." But when you're standing there and it's in your head and it's like, man, part of me's thinking this will make a good story on the podcast.
Could have taken him out.
I didn't listen. At some point, and I got there, and that's what I told. And I kind of upset my wife when I told her that. No, I just got to the point. I was like totally calm. I was like, "Cause you do get down to a point of, okay, walk away, go away. If you come toward this door again with my mom and everything, by hurt I mean dead. Okay, like stop. All right. But besides that,
that's called center mass.
My nephew's got another one standing behind me over here. Like, we're just saying go. Okay. So here's what this guy does. "All right. Guess what? I got something for you. I'm coming back." Really? And I guess if I'd have really played out the Bayou in me, it'd have been like, "Well, let me save you a trip." Like, hang on. But I'm like, okay, that don't work. So he walks off and I'm like, oh man, here's how to know. I'm not going to chase him. He's walking away now. So I'm not going to go walking into the darkness and it's a dark yard. Go back inside, call 911, dude. So yeah, hey, I'm records. I don't know if it's public record. Y'all want to look it up? If y'all don't get enough of Dave and Juan, I don't know if they make 911 calls.
You might could get the 911 call. So, I bet you was Cajun on that.
Oh, but I was descriptive too. And I know, get to the point. But here's the other thing I forgot. You call 911, you start telling your story. 911 ain't doing jack. They're just transferring you to somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. So I say, and I gave the address of the house and I said, we got him. And I just described him. I'll tell you. So we got a white meth head looking guy in a camouflage jacket. I wasn't even politically correct. I know you're not supposed to, like, it's kind of interesting. Like, you're not supposed, when you describe people, I'm just like, hey, I'm going to be as specific as I can. Got a white meth head in a camouflage jacket threatening at the house right now, and I might have to shoot him. So I figured that last part, right? I figured that last part would be what gets attention. And then the 911 was like, "Well, hang on, sir. Hang on. I'm just going to hand you off to."
Yeah.
Got to tell this story. Got to tell this story again. So I ended up telling whoever it is. And now the thing is, we got cameras everywhere. So all of a sudden I go back in and they pull it up. They got it. I didn't realize when we go.
Did the police come out?
They did. Here's what's funny. So I kept waiting. For the cops to. We didn't realize the whole story. Right. Like Paul Harvey. And here's the rest of the story.
The rest of the story.
So I go back into the house and they got the cameras all pulled up on a flat screen. Dude, impressed. We got security like a 7-Eleven at that dang house. So we're looking at the videos. They're running it back. First of all, bro, this guy, and you talk about it scary. He was out on that back patio for a good 5 minutes. He was floating around. He sat in the golf cart, I guess, trying to start it, trying to get rid of it. And that's when I joke with people. I said, that's why we can't have nice things.
Your mom's new toy.
That thing was 2 days old. I don't know that the check cleared on that thing yet, man. Come on. So, so it was actually scarier after we looked at the footage, and he walked.
Well, first of all, because you also realize what could have been.
Well, exactly. So, then I'm like, well, and now I'm like, all right, let's see what's up. So I still have I'm armed, and I'm like, well, I got to go look because we didn't see the cops. I mean, I got to go because is he coming back? Like, now, Grant, I don't know if that's the smartest thing in the world to do, but I'm not hiding inside the house and I'm waiting for the cops.
Right.
But what happened was we saw on the videos that a cop did within, and shout out to Thibodeau, hey, Thibodeau police. I give shout outs to 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Wow.
There was a cop car rolling by the driveway. Never came in, but that's why, like, what's going on? And then takes off. And then all of a sudden, on the video, we saw this. 3 other cop cars come flying up on him, and like lights on. This guy walks away. Apparently, he was going to get whatever he had from me to come back. Stepped onto LA1 and got hit by a car right in front of the university. Right in front of the university.
So left
me. I was probably the last. I wouldn't call it a conversation. But yeah, that's sort of, I guess, the state the guy was in, but went out there and went see my Cajun, went out there, and this cat wouldn't get hit. And I don't know that he made it. And I don't, so at first I was kind of upset that, the cops never came to our door, and it's like, well, they don't have to come to the door. The guy I just described.
Yeah. Someone else noticed him.
Ain't it weird how the world works? Like, he'd have been better off if I'd shot him. You got a better chance.
I don't mean to laugh at that,
but you got a better chance of surviving a bullet wound than a Toyota.
Right, you could have taken a knee out.
No, I wouldn't have done that. Well, in a panic, you can't do that, man. I know that's what our president recommends, right? Why can't cops just shoot him in the leg? All right. But it's not funny. It's funny now. And everybody else was after, like, I love people that have a couple of, friends, relatives, just like, oh man, calm down. It's all right. I'm like, when's the last time you had to have a loaded gun in your hand screaming at a meth head?
I had fun when you texted me the initial story, because I know someone who knows somebody who has a guy in Thibodeau.
What a world we live in, that I give you that story and you pull up another, spot on suspect. I would have bet money that the guy you sent me, the mugshot you sent me, fit. Now, granted, the guy I'm dealing with has a hoodie. I'm kind of
right.
But can we be honest? At some point, meth head features start.
They all fade away and blend together.
Okay, but yeah. So that was the only downside of the wonderful visit.
See, so not only do we do a podcast together once a week, but occasionally we try to help each other solve crime.
We're like Starsky and Hutch. We're like Starsky and Hutch. Like, hey, I got to get on this. Hey, I got a buddy of mine that's a cop. Oh, shout out to Jim Hogue. He was, texting me that night. I forget what I texted him, and he's like, hey, he's pulling up. Oh yeah, and that was the. So I don't know. I don't know if the guy made it or not. They said, but again, here's the Bayou. Here's Thibodeau. The next day, my brother-in-law, who knows everything, he knows everybody. He knows everybody. And we didn't know the next day, like, whether or not that's what happened, because they didn't come to tell us. And then my brother-in-law knew a cop out there, and we talked to a cop and got the story of, oh yeah, this is, what happened. But so there you go. So kids, we haven't done, we did this a lot earlier in the podcast. We would give, lessons, life lessons. Murder? Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Covet? Don't do it.
Meth? Don't do
Don't
it.
do it. Don't do it. And if you do it, don't go to Dave's
Right. Don't be
relative.
stealing a brand new, present golf cart.
He wasn't looking for that. He was just out of his head. I mean,
No.
and that's what I told, now I had my son and my nephews were all, they're kind of amped up, like obviously. And I was telling him, I said, look, man, nothing that guy did made sense. We had a driveway full of cars. We had lights on everywhere. We had a house full of people. He didn't know, heavily armed. Not cameras everywhere. You can't not miss. I mean, like you
Dude, in his state of whatever induced
saying.
confusion,
that's what I'm saying.
he could have thought he was on the other side of town at somebody's house who took his bike.
Man, listen. And you know what's interesting? And look, it's funny, but it's not funny. It's a sad, you would not believe. Because of course I'm sharing with friends, you've same regular text change and just, like, man, you will not believe this kind of stuff. Dude, the amount of meth head stories that people are texting me from the Bayou, or whatever, or drug of choice. But so apparently there's some mean streets there.
The mean streets of Thibodeau.
Well, of Thibodeau, of South Lafourche. Yeah. Bruh, somebody told me, someone told my sister that, my old house in Cutoff, somebody tried to break in. What? They broke a window in the house and, did I know that? I was like, well, no, I don't even know who's in the house anymore. But, hey, theft. Don't do
that.
Don't do that. Breaking people's stuff. Don't do that. Dude, I think we need to get get some shirts made.
No, just don't do that.
Just don't do that. They made fun of Nancy Reagan. I thought it made total sense. Just say no. Just say no. Just say no. How new thing's going to be. Don't do that.
It'd be kind of cool.
Don't do that. I know you think you want to do that. Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, it's not funny. Okay, I'm just going to sound kind of funny. Not funny, but it's funny. So the next day.
Yeah, it makes for a really good story.
When I'm giving my mom the tour on the golf cart all over Nichols, and man, I'm having fun. I'm literally like, I'm all through the quadrangle, all the dorms. I'm on the library sidewalk. I almost went up the stairs. I'm going everywhere with this golf cart. Yeah, this is here telling her stories, whatever. And we went toward the front. I'm trying to, I know you're not supposed to have a golf cart there because you can barely get through. It's a sidewalk, but I got toward the front, the circle in front of Nichols where I think that guy was hit right. I mean, literally.
Were there like a chalk outline?
There was like, I didn't get close enough. I know there was because that's how my brother-in-law saw it. But yeah, driving my mom on a golf cart. It's weird how life works, right?
Now, how fitting would it have been for you to roll that golf cart over that chalk outline?
That'd have been bad. That'd have been wrong. That'd have been wrong. It'd have been funny.
Don't do that.
it'd have been karma. But in my head, I said, don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, what you gonna do? It's one of those, that old line, one of my favorite lines. One of my employees 1,000 years ago, man. She was fantastic. She used to crack me up, and it was always, man, that's when it was, don't start none, won't be none. That was the mantra. Don't start none, won't be none. And I was always teasing. I'd give her grief or whatever. Dave, don't start none, won't be none. It's always been in my head. That's sort of my thing last night. Not asking much of you, just leave.
Right.
Leave.
He started. You politely, invited him to depart the property.
Several times, emphatically. And he decided a better option was to go get hit on LE1. But hey.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe you just scared him that bad that he just figured that, look, I either got to go face this dude.
Wasn't moving that fast.
Or take a car.
But there you go. So, hey, that's always a great thing about going down the bayou again, guys. We get, I live around the Houston area. We any city's got issues, right? But man, I ain't got to go travel.
Yeah, but they're more global issues in bigger cities. On the bayou, they come right up on you. Probably end better as well.
This will tell you how the bayou works. It sort of circles back to how we started this podcast. when I tell you what happened and I describe what happened, you send me a picture and saying, I know this guy's dad. you know, you know you're dealing with when like, oh yeah, oh man, Paul's bit. Oh, that guy, he's
Nah,
trying.
you thought you were telling a story. I'm trying to, and it was your reaction was just I could tell you were shocked by the fact that 10 seconds later here's a mugshot.
That was a little odd. I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, I got to be honest. Like, they don't, they don't get stuff back that fast in the Jason Bourne movies. You know what I mean? Like,
no, well,
like,
it was
here's a
odd because
text.
my sister had just recently told me about that.
Okay.
And so,
all right. So yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
All good, and great trip. Come back. I my first experience in the New Orleans airport. You been there? Have you been in there?
I have not been in it. I dropped my son off there, picked up somebody there.
Not a fan. Not a fan. It's new. It's nice. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's just generic. It's like I'm old. I miss New Orleans airport had a, I don't want to say a vibe, but New Orleans air, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, and they had done some upgrades to it where some of the facilities, they were okay. You know what I'm saying? But this new place is like being in I guess a mall, and it's sort of, the stuff is sort of nice. Every airport's expensive. New Orleans is insane. New Orleans is just like, oh, they're just sticking you because they know it's all tourist. And it's like, man, we're going to get especially all you drunks, you've been drunk since you got here. You got no common sense right now. Hitting you on the way out. Yeah, but the unfortunate thing is everything's new in the airport, but not the employees. My
son told me he ticked off TSA because he flew out last weekend, and I think he had his computer or something in his bag, and so when it went through the scanner, they made him open or they were going to check the bag themselves, and he said, "Be careful," and I think they took that as he was warning them or threatening them. He just didn't want them to drop his computer. What do you mean?
I mean, be careful.
Yeah.
Did I stutter?
Yeah. There's a computer in there. Break it. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Let me put this in terms that anybody driving Bayou Highway 308 in Raceland would know. Break my computer?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do it. No, man. So going through TSA, and I travel a bit, so I have what's the clear. You pay extra for clear and TSA. Dude, slow as crap, man. I mean, like, I'm behind two other guys, and that's the other funny thing. So a lot of times when you're in a line in the clear line, it's typically people that travel all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's not people. It's not their first flight.
But you just think you're traveling on Super Bowl Sunday. You'd think, maybe it'd be a little lighter.
Well, the crowds weren't incredibly big.
Y'all were probably in the airport because my son came back yesterday too. My son he landed, I think, at 2:30.
Probably just missed them because I got dropped off early because I wanted to give my son and my father-in-law time to get back. I doubt either of them watched the Super Bowl, but I saw the whole Super Bowl. That was interesting. It's the first time I ever do this. I watched a Super Bowl sitting in one of the bars on Concourse. I think it was B. And what's funny was I was there long enough. I mean, I got there probably 20 minutes before the game started. So I sat down, got a drink, got stuff out. And I probably had over the course of, because I think I went to my plane around the beginning of the third quarter. I must have had 5 different sets of friends come through. Everybody comes through and starts watching the game and talking. I mean, I'm meeting everybody, man. Asheville, North Carolina, Atlanta. And it's just so funny. One thing that did strike me, dude, young people today, I don't know if it's men and women, but I know it's men. They some gambling fools.
Dude, between fantasy and everything,
Like the first touchdown got scored, and this guy randomly on the side of me, probably 24-year-old dudes, and he goes, "Oh man, that guy was a plus 700." And a guy 2 seats over, like, yes. They ain't pulling this up on their phones. These guys are like, and they start telling.
That's what we had our weekly directors meeting at work this morning. One of the younger fellows said, "Oh man, I just needed one different guy to score it. I had $600." And
Wow. I mean, so, but all good. So I watched the game there. My flight boarded right around when the third quarter started.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching on my phone. I took a Southwest flight, got on Southwest, and Southwest has Wi-Fi with live TV. I watched the entire Super Bowl. I watched the whole thing. I saw the where did I watch I watched the halftime show. So you didn't see you only saw
I
the
didn't
end,
see
right?
I only listened on radio, and I saw the winning drive
I
when I got to my dad's house. So on radio, they don't play any of the
Yeah.
halftime or anything.
It was Rihanna. Oh, I'm actually, kind of I'm not a fan, but I'm like, she's good. She's a billionaire with a B.
Yeah.
With the B. She's a billionaire with a B. So she's had a ton of hits. So she was fine. Okay. I didn't I thought the halftime show was boring as all low energy. I was going to complain. I was going to make fun of it. I find out today, she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll give you some slack because that's got to be a little bit of a
This is
challenge. But
the whole deal with it for me. And look, yeah, I'm not a Rihanna fan, but I don't dislike her. Yeah.
no, I'm totally. I was 100% cool.
But the need for everybody to have an opinion. Yeah, and again, it's the polarizing opinions. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. Oh, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And I saw more people today posting criticizing the people who criticized. Yeah. Have you seen all the people who didn't like it?
Yeah.
I saw more people saying that. Have you seen people who talking about not liking it than I saw people who said they didn't like it?
Everybody got to start a fight. Yeah, but it's because it's one of the few universal things. So everybody's watching. That's probably one of the most watched things.
Now I did check out because I like Chris Stapleton, so I checked out the Star Spangled Banner version that he did, which I thought was really nice.
Everybody's liking that. I
actually heard it on the radio this afternoon.
I don't know what the over and under was. Yeah, they're loving it. Everybody's loving it. I don't know what the over and under was. I thought it was going to have to be over because it looked like he was stretching some stuff, but apparently he didn't. Apparently he came up. So I guess
I think each year, 220.
I guess each year they adjust that. It's not like a set number, right? So I guess they figure
they plan the tempo. Yeah.
I guess. And for the halftime show as well, like I thought her outfit was, I couldn't figure it out. It was bizarre, but whatever. That's not me. And the staging. The thing through the air that you have to go back if you haven't seen it, but it's this incredibly impressive staging. So the staging,
I saw a clip of it. So that was not video effects. The stage was really that staggered,
up and down, and it would move, and like that was impressive. Now all the idiots dressed in like white looking hazmat suits. Yeah. What the heck is that for? I mean, that's somebody that's got too much of a budget. You can that's when you hire a moron. A creative moron, and you give them too much money, and they just gotta and then what we're gonna do? We're gonna have 150 people in white puffy hazmat suits, Stay Puft Marshmallow people running around for no good.
But it's the most impressive stuff that never gets attention to that. The ability to assemble and tear down that setup during halftime.
That's like, I wish our military still operated that smoothly, man. I mean, like that's impressive stuff. Of course, they could have done a better job with the field. The field was a mess. The field was slippery. People slipping.
Yeah, they kept saying that on the radio that people were the players.
How do you do that? How? It's the Super Bowl, y'all.
It's a grass field, and they roll it out, but it's in
the freaking desert, man. I mean,
but they roll it out of the stadium to get rain or to get water and sun outside.
Well, I don't know what the hell. I don't know what they do, but man, listen, it became an issue. It became obvious after you see enough people slip.
Yeah, it said people were changing their cleats and raising three kind of stink about it.
Yeah, they're raising and then like one of the kickoffs, the kicker almost fell down on the kickoff. I mean, literally, like he's, but anyway, all that said, okay, it's a slippery field for everybody. That's just unfortunate. But the referees are the referee. It's awful, guys. A call at the end of the game, and don't get me wrong. I'm not pro.
You don't make that call at that time.
You don't make that call. Like it's a call that is not made all game long. That exactly what happened probably happened the entire game. And the Super Bowl is known for being better games because the referees know.
Right.
Man, listen, unless it's just bizarrely obvious or egregious, you gotta let these guys play. You do not make that call. You don't end the game, which is what he did. Right.
Right.
So there you go. And I sort of, like I said, I had no dog in the fight. I'm not a big whatever. I was wanted maybe Jalen Hurts, the quarterback of Philadelphia.
Right. I was pulling for the Eagles just because they were the underdog. And
I was no, they actually weren't. The Eagle dogs.
oh, that's right. They were favored by a point and a half.
Yeah, the Eagles defense sucked. They totally sucked that game. But and shout out to Mahomes. I'm not a big. I think he gets overplayed, but all credit to him.
That's my whole deal.
Mahomes is Mahomes. But yeah, no, I felt bad about the decision until I saw all the footage of Philadelphia Eagle fans, and then I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I felt about the Eagles fans like I felt about the guy, the meth head that I tried. Okay, man.
Yeah, their fans are notorious.
You left, and you went get yourself hit on the road. Okay,
yeah, you're bad.
It's hard for me to feel bad. Like, a little while ago you were threatening us. And yeah, Eagles fans, I'm sorry, man. And I got I got really good friends up there. It's like, yo, being an obnoxious Chew, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Didn't they fighting and rioting in Philadelphia?
Yeah, they were turning cars over before the game. So, hey, there you go, yo. There you go. That's why you can't have nice things. That's why you can't have nice things. Well, you know what? We got nice things. We got 100 of these things, assuming this sticks to tape. Assuming that when we're done, this stuff is still around here. But we're going to push the button. Get on out of here. Again, see if any of this stuck to tape. Y'all, we'll tell you again, man, for the 100th time. For the 100th time, you want to reach us is Dave and Juan at protonmail.com, among other places.
Yeah, anywhere that, great podcast and social media is available for free.
That's right.
We're there.
We're there.
Shoot.
We're there. Or do it this way. Wherever you found us this time, find us again.
We're right there again.
Going to be there again. 100 in the bag. Don't know how long.
Bro, if you're Freeman and Thibodeau, ask a couple people at the bar. They're Dave's new friends. They'll shoot him a message if you need to.
Right. Hook us up. The guy that I beat in tennis, the neighbor, the friendly guy, the next day, it's kind of raining. I'm in the yard doing some work. I go, turn around. There's that black Escalade waving at me.
All right. Well, I'm going to Parade in Thibodeau on Sunday, so you're going to have to let me know where he lives, and I'm going to go knock on his door. I'm saying,
dude,
I was watching my friend Dave play tennis one time in college.
Where are you going to see the parade?
Menard.
Oh, you got to go to, you have to go to my mom's house. They got a big thing going on.
All right.
Dude, go ride my golf cart.
I'll make sure it's still okay.
Get a picture. Go ride my golf cart, man. That'd be
tell your mom I'll be there, man.
But tell my brother-in-law and them, hey, Juan's coming by. All right. Yeah. Bring your wife and kids. Do it'd be great.
I'm gonna be there for both the parades.
I'm not gonna be there. I gotta go to Shreveport or somewhere. I'm going to Nashville in 2 days, and then I come right back, and then I gotta go to like Shreveport or something. It's but there you go. Which one of those trips are you least excited about? I don't know. Anyone that doesn't involve me having to hold a gun on a meth head. Hey, we say it all the time, guys. It's not a suggestion. It's not a hint. It's not a subtle implication, y'all. It is. It's a requirement, man. It's a freaking mandate. It's a freaking man. It's just like the signs on the road, right? Murder, don't do it. Have the best week of your life. Do it. Don't make Dave break out that gun on you. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. If that guy would have said, are you Dave from Dave and Juan? Right. You'd have served him up some spaghetti. No. I'd have still told him to go. Sorry. You're trying to steal stuff from the house. You still got to go. But I'm going to give you, I'm gonna do like Leonard Skinner. I'm going to give you 3 steps, bro. Give you 3 steps. Give you 3. Anyway, so hope that guy rest in peace or in the hospital or wherever the heck he is right now. I really mean that. Yeah. Look it out, y'all. Maybe I'll get some rehab if he's still around. All right, y'all. Hey, man, I know we took an extra day to get this out to you, so I hope it was worth it. But, hey, it is what it is. We'll try to be back again next Monday. Yeah, we'll be back. Same time, same channel. It's going to be roughly a week, but we're going to be back here. All right, man. Everybody have a fantastic one. Love you, bro. Back at you, dude. I think it's cool. We started the first one
with the weenie spaghetti story.
Did we?
Yes, that's where we started talking about the weenie spaghetti. The 100th version or the 100th episode. Back to weenie spaghetti.
On the menu.
Hey, big time, big time.